It's House of the Dragon time. Blonde people are everywhere, and the girls are calling Caraxes the throat goat. Hello, my sweet summer children. I'm back with the juice to get you through the long night. So episode 2 of House of the Dragon was titled The Rouge Prince, and we got a lot to chat about, because seriously, Viserys is just an idiot. It should have been Rhaenys. This episode, instead of this episode being titled The Rouge Prince, this episode should have been titled It Should Have Been Rhaenys. But let's just get into breaking down this episode, because there's really a lot to talk about. First things first, we got the opening credits, and it just hit us. I mean, the beat just dropped. It was like da 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 da. I was jamming. Like, I fell out. Like, I'm not even going to front. And I know y'all were jamming, too. I know y'all were I know y'all were. So, episode 2 opens with an absolutely disgusting scene. Just looking at it, I know it smells musty. I know it stinks. The crab feeder is literally staking alive humans to the beach to rot to death as the crabs feast on their flesh. There are skeletons, and like the dude who has like the crab eating the muscle in his foot, and then his foot moves. It's like, y'all, like, HBO really does not play with the visuals. Like, it looks horrible. A horrible death. I don't want a death like that. Anyway, in King's Landing, the bells are tolling, and Rhaenyra is pouring out some liquor for the dead Lord Commander of the King's Guard, Sir Ryan. Harold Westerling will be taking his place and wants to find a new replacement ASAP. So Harold Westerling and Sir Otto Hightower, they've invited like all these knights to King's Landing to pick a new broski to don the white cloak. But this meeting is interrupted by Big Daddy Triple OG Double, the Sea Snake. So it seems that 6 months have passed between episodes 1 and 2. Now, the timeline is going to be wonky in the first season because they are telling the events that happen leading up to the Dance of Dragons. Once the dance starts, the timeline won't have to be like jumping all around. It's like it's a linear once the dance starts. But so Corlys comes into the council and he's pissed off because he warned them what would happen if they did nothing in episode 1, which they did nothing. So the Triarchy is taking over the Stepstones. House Velaryon is a house built on trade. Their ships going to and from Essos to Westeros is their bread and butter. Not only that, safe trade routes provide literal bread and butter to the realm. Imports and exports, all that jazz. So Corlys was ignored the first time, and he's basically ignored again. Otto's like, look, man, like, we'll replace your ships and give you money. We will compensate you. And Corlys is just like, no, are you stupid? Do you not see the Triarchy is literally blocking trade routes, you incompetent little shit? And I think, right, so like, things like this really separate Otto Hightower from Tywin Lannister. I know a lot of people like to make the comparison between Otto and Tywin Lannister, and we talked about that on Direwolf City, how we like kind of wish that comparison would die. The comparison between Otto and Tywin, it's just not there. Like, Tywin would never let the Triarchy take over the Stepstones. He would never do that. Like, yeah, no, Otto could never. Anyway, Viserys says he hasn't been doing nothing. He's sending envoys to Pentos and Volantis to see if they can strike some peaceful accord. You may remember Pentos. Pentos is where Dany was in the very beginning of Game of Thrones. And Volantis is where Tyrion was taken by Jorah in season 5 of Game of Thrones. So let me explain the free cities real quick. So Old Valyria was actually called the Freehold of Valyria. The Freehold was made up of the free cities. They were called the Daughters of Valyria. The capital itself was in Valyria, was actually Valyria. That was the capital of the Valyrian Freehold. So after the Doom, the Daughters of Valyria, the cities of Valyria became independent, aka the free cities. So Rhaenyra makes the suggestion that Viserys should send the Dragon Riders. She says that plural, so I'm thinking she's speaking of herself and Syrax, Daemon and Caraxes, and Rhaenys and Meleys, because those are the only Dragon Riders right now. But this seems to shock everyone, and I don't get why, because she's right. Like, fly over there, land your dragons right on the top of the obsidian wall of Volantis, and tell them to pipe the fuck down. Corlys seems to agree, and he's like, at least the princess has a plan. plan. But Sir Otto Hightower has to jump in, cut her off while she's speaking, and change the subject. How does no one on the council see how problematic he is? Like, I don't get it. They basically tell Rhaenyra to stay out of grown folks' business, and they send her off with Sir Otto and Lord Commander to choose the new member of the Kingsguard. And Rhaenyra is like, fuck all these tourney knights. Who here actually fought in a real war? A real battle? We don't, who here has used their steel outside of a tourney? And there's only one. They start to drop like flies, and all we're left with is the Demon of Dorne, Sir Christian Cole. Rhaenyra chooses him easily because he's hot. Hello. No, just kidding. She chooses him because he has actual combat experience and because she's crushing on him. And Sir Otto, of course, tries to tell her about the benefit of picking someone else. These houses are important. These houses are important to us. How will they help your father? How will they help us? Which is a very interesting conversation. Like, it's a very ironic, you should say so, Sir Otto. Ironic, considering what happens later, because House Valerian is way more important than House Hightower. But I digress until we get there. Then we get a scene of Alicent Hightower and King Viserys giving us some exposition on Valyria. So I did a whole video on Valyria because it's like the only place I want to go. Like, my two favorite places in Westeros are Valyria, and the second to Valyria is Braavos. And I want to go to both of them. So anyway, it's like Valyria. Some of the structures that have been built since Valyria in King's Landing look Valyrian, especially the Dragon Pit. And Dragonstone was built pre-Valyrian Doom. So Dragonstone is the closest of probably what Valyria looks like. And I'm just going to say it. This is the only scene with Alicent Hightower and King Viserys that didn't bore me to death, because I think their scenes are fucking boring. So he also talks to Alicent about Rhaenyra and his fear of talking to her. He also doesn't want Alicent telling Rhaenyra about their talks because she won't understand. Well, wait till she finds out. Well, you know what? Anyway, Rhaenyra and Alicent are in the sept lighting candles, and the shots of all the candles, the shots of the sept were just like, that is some beautiful cinematography, like really amazing. And Alicent, like, I feel for you. I feel for Alicent. Like, I really feel for her. But why are you not telling Rhaenyra? Because first of all, I tell my besties everything. Because if that's your friend, you should be like, look, my father's trifling ass keeps making me go up to see your dad. He's making me put on my mom's dresses. And I just feel like I'm betraying you. I don't want to. My dad is making me do this. She's not her friend. Friends in this world, especially for like Rhaenyra, are really a rarity because it's about position and station in Westeros, and people would be her quote unquote friend just to be close to her to advance themselves. So imagine how Rhaenyra feels. Like, she's lost her mother, she's lost her sibling, she's lost her uncle to exile, and now her bestie is banging her dad. Like, bro, that's just too much. That's too much. That's too much for anybody. Nobody should have to go through that. The next scene is between Corlys Velaryon, his wife Rhaenys, and Viserys. Corlys tells it like it is. You got us out here looking weak, bro. Which, he's right. And Corlys proposes Viserys wed their daughter, Laena. This is from the books. And this is huge. Listen, I know it's gross. I know. She's 12. I get it. Keep in mind, Daenerys is 13 when she's forced to wed Khal Drogo. And listen, as gross as it is for children to marry, it's like still illegal to do this today, apparently, because I Googled it, and honey, I was shocked that in most U.S. states, the minimum marriage age for minors that have their parental consent ranges from 12 to 17 years old. Because, y'all, Massachusetts has the lowest minimum marriage ages with parental consent. 12 for girls and 14 for boys. This is Massachusetts. Like, ew. Anyway, but this ain't the real world. It's Westeros. It's a normal thing here. House Velaryon and House Targaryen are the only two houses of Old Valyria that still exist today. They have Valyrian blood, and it's always been tradition that House Targaryen and House Velaryon wed each other. Jaehaerys, the old king, his mother was Alyssa Velaryon. It's just a tradition. But what's on top of this tradition, why politically this is such a good move, is because Rhaenys was denied the throne. If she can't be queen, she wants her daughter to be queen. It will seal old wounds. The next scene is Rhaenyra and her father eating. They discuss Aemma and Christian Cole, and Rhaenyra wants to apologize for speaking up at the council, and he cuts her off and just tells her not to apologize. Pay it no mind. You're young. You will learn. And it's like, teach her, bitch. What will she learn if you don't teach her? What was wrong about what she said? Tell her. Or what was right about it? Do you even know? I bet you don't. Anyway, after dinner, we get maggots, where the king cuts his finger on the Iron Throne. In the first episode, it looks like that finger is falling off. Like, it's black, it's rotting, they're treating it with maggots. The throne is probably like loaded down with tetanus. But anyway, the throne, when it cuts you and stuff like that, it's denying you. It's literally saying you do not belong here. It's telling you, Viserys, you're an awful king. And I'm not saying like you're an awful person, but you're definitely a bad king. As Renly said, do you still think good soldiers make good kings and good men? But anyway, the talk is about Laena Velaryon, and Mellos thinks it's a good idea. Sir Otto agrees verbally that the reason is sound, but you could tell he was caught off guard. His body language shows he's not happy with it because he got other plans. In the next scene, it's Laena with Viserys, and Carey had me dying laughing on Direwolf City stream because she said Laena had on a founding father's wig, and y'all, Laena is the cutest, and she's very true to book Laena. This is a quote about book Laena. The Lady Laena Velaryon, who had just turned 12, a fiery young maiden, freshly flowered. Lady Laena had inherited the beauty of a true Targaryen from her mother, Rhaenys, and a bold, adventurous spirit from her father, the Sea Snake. As he had loved to sail, Laena loved to fly. Laena immediately asked Viserys about Balerion, because Viserys was the last rider of Balerion the Black Dread. Balerion died, and now the oldest living dragon is Vhagar. Now, I know a lot of y'all been talking shit about Vhagar because she's old. Y'all need to quit. Vhagar is the biggest dragon of them all. And she's the only dragon that's actually seen actual war. Vhagar was Queen Visenya's dragon. Like, Vhagar is that bitch. Stop playing. Stop playing with Vhagar. Stop playing on Vhagar's name. Laena mentions that Vhagar is too big for the dragon pit, and she wants to know where Vhagar has her lair. Because I think somebody wants to claim the biggest dragon. I kind of wonder if her mother, like if Laena's mother, ever took Laena flying on melees. Because if my mom had a dragon and never took me to fly, I'd be salty AF. Anyway, Laena says that they can hear Vhagar's songs at the ports off of Spicetown, and it's a sad song. Viserys says that even dragons get lonely, and Vhagar is really out here dolo. She's the last of the original three-headed dragon. Balerion is dead, Meraxes is dead, and Vhagar hasn't had a rider since Balon. Balon was King Viserys' father, who died right before the Great Council of 101. Laena recites what her father told her to say: join our houses, I'll give you children of pure Valyrian blood, but she doesn't have to bed him for 2 years. Rhaenyra is watching this, and so is Rhaenys, and the exchange between Rhaenyra and Rhaenys is an interesting one. Rhaenys is right about everything, with the exception of the last thing she says. Yeah, they will burn the realm down before they see a queen ascend the Iron Throne. But Rhaenys says, your father is no fool. And I'm like, Rhaenys, boo, yes, but yes, he is. He is a fool. What Rhaenys is saying is the hard, cold truth. And I don't think she's trying to hurt Rhaenyra. She's just speaking plainly. They would burn the realm to the fucking ground before the throne passes to a woman. It's just what it is. The next scene is Viserys and Alicent. Not for nothing, I'm really bored with these scenes between them two. Is it just me? I don't know. Anyway, Viserys tells her about Laena, and Alicent gives the king a gift. She fixed the dragon that got broken earlier in the episode. Thank God this boring ass scene is interrupted by the hand. A small council emergency. Daemon has stolen a dragon egg. So I totally agree with Alicia when she tweeted Daemon really did all that just to see his brother. Yeah, Daemon steals the egg, names himself rightful heir and Prince of Dragonstone, announces his girl is pregnant, and he's getting married even though he's already married. He's trolling the fuck out of them. But Daemon didn't take any egg. He took Dreamfire's egg, the one that Princess Rhaenyra picked out for her brother Balon. Viserys is ready to go to Dragonstone, but Sir Otto is like, no, Daemon is without limits. You cannot, I will not allow it. But let's be honest here. Daemon would never hurt Viserys. Daemon just wants to see his brother. And just now, Sir Otto can't afford for the king to make up with his brother. Yeah, he can't afford that because he has plans that could get spoiled if Daemon starts to talk some sense into Viserys. So it's decided Sir Otto will go. Alicent dresses him for battle. She's probably hoping he dies because when he's like, you're the prettiest girl at court, why do you destroy yourself? She looks at him like she wants to kill him. I mean, that's just what it looks like to me. Anyway, the shots of Dragonstone are absolutely amazing. The fog, it's just dark, it's goth, it's everything. It's very true to old Valyria, I believe. So Daemon and Otto face off on the walls of Dragonstone. Daemon is kind of just like looking around like, where's Viserys? So where's my brother? Damn, it didn't work. And he calls Criston Cole Crispin. Criston Cole, you're forever Crispin now. And Crispin had jokes, but Daemon doesn't care. He lives for that kind of shit. So Sir Otto is trying to talk sense into Daemon. He's talking shit about killing Daemon, and boom, you hear Caraxes. And honestly, Caraxes sounds like he has COVID. He sounds like he's wheezing a little bit. He's short of breath. But I honestly think it's super cute. Like, I love Caraxes. I'm just saying. So Caraxes pulls up like, oh, I thought somebody said something. Like, who said it? Anyway, I'm here. So Caraxes, like, it just looks amazing. I mean, the blood worm. It's the blood worm. Like, he really matches his book description. I love that they are making these dragons all look different, and immediately you can identify them. The dragons and the dragon rider bonds, I think, are just so strong. They know without talking. He doesn't need to call Caraxes. He just comes when he's needed, much like Drogon and Dany. Otto is about to piss his pants, and he tells everyone to sheathe their fucking steel. But this goes to show you that, like, Daemon really isn't a danger, and Otto knows it. Otto never would have went there if he thought he was in danger. Daemon is literally trolling. That's why he says the king would never lower himself to this mummer's spars. Daemon has the gold cloaks, Caraxes, and Otto went to Dragonstone with Mellos, 2 Kingsguard, and some dragon keepers. Daemon could have killed him easily, but he really just wanted to see his brother. Then we hear another dragon roar, a healthy one, and the clouds start to roll apart, and out pops my baby Syrax. I love Syrax. Rhaenyra and Syrax arrive at Dragonstone. The way Daemon holds on to the dragon egg when Rhaenyra pulls up because he knows he's going to wind up giving it to her, he's like holding it all close to his body like, no, don't take it from me. Anyway, Daemon and Rhaenyra talk in Valyrian, and basically Rhaenyra calls his bluff, like, uncle, stop playing. Daemon gets pissed, tosses the egg, and dips out. Like, someone just hug him. Like, he just needs a hug. Otto looks concerned as Rhaenyra flies away because Rhaenyra has just proved herself that she's valuable. And I don't think he likes that because he plans for his daughter to give the king some sons. I actually like the twist on the book story about how the egg situation went down with Mysaria not actually being pregnant. Anyway, Daemon looks like he's pissed, but he's not. He's just a certified lover boy who needs a hug. Mysaria is frightened because Daemon put her in his little games without her knowledge. She came into Daemon's service for protection, but she feels she's in danger due to him, which is kind of true. But also, babe, calm down because King Viserys ain't gonna do shit to you. He has no backbone, no spine, no balls, no dragon. You're good. So Viserys goes to meet with Lord Strong, the smartest person on his council, who advises him to wed Laena, but they are interrupted by Rhaenyra's return from Dragonstone. Viserys is heated. Rhaenyra is like, look, I got the egg with no bloodshed, and Otto would have been dead if I didn't come. They finally talk about Aemma. They finally are mending their relationship. He flat out says, I won't replace your mother, and I won't replace you as heir. They come to an understanding. Rhaenyra says, your first duty is to the realm. I understand. So this is important, very important, because when he announces that he's marrying Alicent, Rhaenyra is visibly upset. And I don't think that is just because he's marrying her bestie. I think part of Rhaenyra being okay with her father remarrying was because his duty was to the realm. Fulfilling your duty to the realm is his obligation. Whether he wants to or not, he should have married Laena Velaryon. And as Corlys said, marrying Alicent was an absurdity. Laena is the firstborn daughter of Corlys Velaryon and Rhaenys Targaryen. She has the blood of old Valyria. She comes from the richest house in the land. Her father has the biggest fleet, and she is like to be a dragon rider. But Otto manipulated the whole thing, and the king is to wed Otto's daughter, the daughter of a second son of House Hightower. No armies, no coin, no dragons. Just a pretty girl in the same dress for 3 days and a coochie. Viserys is a fool. He's a fool. Viserys is equal to Ned Stark as Han. Good men. They're kind men. They're honorable even, but politically stupid. Challenged. Touched. Clown sauce. Then we cut to Driftmark, and Corlys has made a new ally, Daemon, and they are about to go to war in the Stepstones. One of my favorite lines in this episode was Daemon saying, "Look, I can talk about my brother, but slow your roll, killer." And that's love right there. That's loyalty. Someone shutting shit down when you're not around, that's the people that really fuck with you. The scene cuts to the crab feeder, and he has grayscale, which is highly contagious. So this should be interesting. Like, what are you got? Why does he have grayscale? You guys remember Ser Jorah had grayscale and Samwell like healed him just by peeling the grayscale up? What? That was so fucking whack. Anyway, besides the scenes with Alicent and Viserys, I'm sorry, like, I find them fucking boring. I find them boring. But besides those scenes, this episode was solid, and I can't wait to see what they do next. But what do you think? As always, thanks for watching. Thanks to everyone who supports me on Patreon. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and join the Sweet Summer family. Okay, my sweet summer children, have a good day.